So as of tomorrow, I will have had this channel for 1 year. So I wanted to make this video to tell you why I even started it, and how I actually do it, because it's not as complicated as you think, and actually how much money I've made and how this YouTube channel itself is going. So why did I start doing this? Well, honestly, it's just something that's always interested me, and it's just fun to do, to make videos. So there's that aspect of it. But I also wanted to document a lot of the stuff that I do. I tend to do a lot of things and I don't really talk about it, but it's there for legacy, for my kids later on, or whoever wants to see that kind of stuff. The stuff that I do on this channel is completely different than what I do for an actual living. I'm not going to get into that one, but this is just me doing stuff that a lot of people probably do on the weekends. Things like building this cabin I'm sitting in, and when I started a year ago, it was basic maintenance on lawnmowers and things like that. And then I bought an old four-wheeler, and I started doing maintenance on that. And so I documented that. There were some funny moments in that kind of stuff. And but actually documenting the building of this cabin that I'm sitting in was a big part of the motivation. So that was a piece of it. And then it progressed to dealing with power outages and being emergency preparedness, and just things along that nature. That I've done a lot of stuff over the past couple of decades, probably on living sustainably, and living not sustainably, but living, being prepared for adverse things like power outages and whatnot. So I just thought I would want to share that kind of stuff. Uh, but honestly, a lot of the videos that I make are for really when building this cabin. I do this stuff alone. It's just me doing this kind of thing. So when I have the camera there and I'm building things or I'm fixing things, it's a lot like you guys are my friends, and I'm talking to you as I'm building things. So it, it it's just kind of fun to have somebody else there to talk to about what it is you're doing during that time you're doing it. So that's really the motivation there. The motivation was never to be a full-time YouTuber or content creator, or follow this as kind of a career path. This is just a hobby for me, and I had no idea anybody would ever even want to watch any of it. But if a few people wanted to see it, or I had that stuff documented, you know, I that was kind of motivation. As it turns out, there are some people that like to watch what I do for whatever reason. So I'm totally kind of in awe of that. And thank you very much for following me along on some of the crazy stuff I do. I can't believe anybody would want to watch me do this stuff, but I'm glad that you do, and it's been a lot of fun. And so that's turned into a different piece of this hobby. I sometimes get asked a lot about, well, how does what does it take to get into, like, you start a YouTube channel? Isn't that complicated? Isn't No, actually, it's not. I'm actually going to take a picture right now of me filming this, and you'll see exactly what it is I'm using. And I'll put that up here on the screen so you can see that. But what this is I have a tripod, which I think was around $20. I think I paid on Amazon. And I have my old cell phone. Uh, the current cell phone that I use as my daily driver phone is a Samsung S24. But my phone previous to this was a Huawei P30 Pro. That's what I'm filming this on right now. It's got an amazing camera. In fact, it's just every bit as good as this. That phone is probably, I guess it's probably 6 years old now. It's still, honestly, this really wasn't much of an upgrade over that. This is still a pretty valid phone. One of the things I learned early on making these YouTube videos, and if you go back to my old videos, like from a year ago, they kind of suck. And a big piece of that, and one of the most important things that I learned, is that you need audio. You need good audio, or at least better than what your phone mic is going to be, especially if you're outdoors like I am a lot of the time, or you're out doing things. It's just not great. So you need some kind of a microphone system. So there's my microphone. And then there's another little piece that sticks in the back of the camera. It's a USB-C, goes in there. I paid $15 for this camera setup called a lavalier. I believe it. There's a bunch of different sort of generic brand names of them. It's all essentially the same thing. I'll put a picture of what they are up here somewhere, up here. And that's it. Like that was the biggest dramatic increase in the quality of my videos, was adding this microphone, this lavalier microphone. Now, someday I might get a better version of this, but honestly, this has been okay for what I do. So my total investment in equipment here has been $20 for the tripod and another $15 for the microphone. The phone is just my old cell phone. So any cell phone really in the past, few years, probably going to be good enough. And as long as it can shoot high def. I don't shoot in 4K. The reason why I don't shoot in 4K is because it takes a lot more space on whatever you're recording on, a lot more memory to do that. And honestly, I've tried it. I've compared the two of them. There's a minimal difference. And if I was doing like super high def, high quality stuff, it might make a difference. But honestly, this is much simpler to deal with. And also when it comes to the editing part, so you got to get all those files off whatever you're recording with, in my case the phone, and put it on your computer. A lot bigger to transfer. And then your computer has to have enough horsepower to be able to process 4K and edit 4K. And that's the other piece of this. So when I edit stuff, I use my old laptop. My laptop is, I think, 7 years old, kind of thing. It wasn't a bad one in the first place, but it's not like a big spec laptop or anything. It wasn't a big deal at the time, and it's 7 years old. So I don't know that I could process 4K video very well or edit very well, and it really doesn't matter. Not for what I'm doing, not for this type of a video that I do. The 1080p works just fine. It's high def, and when I get later on, I'm going to show you all my YouTube stats and all my YouTube, like how much I've made, but also where my viewers are and that kind of stuff. My viewers, 50% of my viewers watch this on a TV. I think it's 50%. I'll get there later. But 50% of them are watching them on TV. They're not watching in 4K usually, and it doesn't really matter that much. So that's why I do it that way. If I was going to get a lot more professional, I think, and spend money on like $1,000 camera system and blah blah blah, then yeah, if I had a better editing system, and I might do it in 4K. There'd be a slight difference in the quality maybe, but this is, like I said, this is just a hobby for me. I'm not making a living here. This is just for fun, and I'm glad that so many people seem to enjoy it. The other thing that I do have, I'm going to take another picture of this. That was good. So I'll show that up there. I have it's a key light. So right here, there's a light, and it does make a difference. Lighting beats camera any day. So you can have a really nice camera, but if you got crap audio and you've got crap lighting, it isn't going to matter. So using my old cell phone and having a light, which I forget what I paid, it wasn't like a lot of money, is an Amazon, probably $20, $30 purchase or something like that. And it's another one of these $20 mic stands. Or $20 tripod, sorry, not mic stand. That's it. So that thing helps a lot. And the only other purchase that I have, and I don't have it here to show you a picture of it, I made a little while ago, and I haven't used it that much. You'll see, I've used it in a couple of my videos, that specifically the last video that I made, which was talking about my simple solar setup in the cabin. So I bought a DJI, I gotta get this right, it's a DJI, it comes up as an OM6. Anyway, it's a gimbal thing. It's like a handheld gimbal, and you put your phone in it, and it stabilizes, and it's a kind of a selfie stick, but I'm not real good at it yet. And I tend to use the selfie camera instead of the back-facing camera when I use it, so I could frame things right. The selfie camera isn't quite as good. There is a little bit of a noticeable difference between the selfie camera and the front-facing camera on this phone anyway. And but using it the other way anyway, I'll probably get into more of using that. I saw it on sale, and I believe I paid up, it was like $120 or something like that. It's not necessary. You don't need it, and I've honestly hardly used it in any of my videos yet. I may use it coming up more, but that's it. So you could start your own YouTube channel with nothing more than your cell phone that you currently have, or if you have if you have one that you had a couple of years ago or whatever. I like having the separate one and having it dedicated to doing just this, as opposed to using the phone that I use all day every day, because I did a factory reset on my old phone, kept all of the memory there dedicated to the just shooting the videos. And it's simpler because I have my other phone. Sometimes I'll refer to notes and things, or I might take a picture or something like that. So that's why I like having the separate system. But the separate system is just my old cell phone, and honestly, it's just fine. One difference, the one caveat I will make though, is when I decided to use an external mic, or use the external mic, the lavalier mic in my phone, the camera app, the native camera app, didn't really pick it up, and I was having trouble getting an external microphone to work on Android anyway. I have no idea about iPhone, but on Android anyway, it wasn't like an automatic thing. So I looked around, and there's a piece of software called Open Camera. It's an app you download. So it's a different camera app than the one that comes with your phone. And after I started using it, I actually quite like it, and I like it a lot more. You have the ability to do a lot more manual settings if you want to get into that. Right now, I like for this video, I set up a certain ISO, and I don't, and I'm not a professional photographer by any stretch, but it's not a complicated program to use, but it works quite well. But it has an option to use external mic if present, and you click that on, and these things work no problem. So that was the other piece of learning that I got along the way, and it's made a big difference. And then the Open Camera puts all of its files in a separate folder, which makes it easier for finding on your phone later on to download onto your computer and edit. So that's what I would do there. See that? I'm referring to my notes again. I do that every once in a while because I just don't want to forget anything as I'm doing this. I'm doing this in one long shot. As far as editing the videos, what I use, and I've tried a variety of different things. You don't need, I didn't pay anything for the software, so I'm using CapCut. You can download that on your PC. I know a lot of people use CapCut on their phones. There's a like editor thing, and it's actually owned by the same people that have TikTok. And the purpose of CapCut originally was an app on your phone to edit videos for TikTok. I don't do TikTok. I don't have any idea how to do TikTok, or I've never had an account there. I don't go there. But you can download the application for your PC as well. And I really, really like it as an editing software because it's a very good workflow, like a very simple workflow. And it's really quick to edit together your videos. It's got some features in the free version, which is the free version has all the stuff that I need. It's like sometimes you'll see me put a title on a video, and that's super easy to do, or I'll circle something in a video. You can actually just drop that on the overlay. You can change you can edit that, you can adjust like the lighting, the exposure, a few things you can do without even paying for the premium version. Premium version has a whole bunch more stuff you can do if you want to get fancy about it. I don't. Uh, it's just a real simple way of doing it. I have in the past used Premiere Pro on, in different systems and things like that. I've used a couple of different ones, and I have DaVinci Resolve downloaded, and I tried it out, and I may end up getting there someday. It's a steeper learning curve, and I think there's probably a lot more things that I can do with Resolve. But for now, for what I do, CapCut works just great, and it's a very quick process. Remember, this isn't my full-time job. I do this as a hobby, and I do it largely on weekends, and I'll pick a day when I'm doing the video. Today happened to be a real crappy day outside, so I'm not doing anything outside. And I've got more work to do, obviously, in this cabin, as you can see, but I don't have the materials yet. So I did want to make this 1-year anniversary video to see what happens in a year if you started your own channel, and how it might go if you don't put too much effort into it. Like, I don't really put a lot of effort into this channel. I just kind of do this basically once a week on the weekend, because I generally do something on the weekend. That's just who I am. And I thought, well, why not film it and share it and see what happens. And so again, today I'm up to 1,150 subscribers, which is amazing to me. So let's talk about the YouTube platform itself and how much money I make. Manage some expectations there. It's not as much as you think. Spoiler alert. I'm going to, on this phone, do this screen recorder thing, which I've never done before. And so when you're doing YouTube, there is, and I'll put the screen up here. When you're doing YouTube, you get the YouTube Studio app on your phone, and a lot more options on your PC, to be honest with you. But I'm just going to show you what you get on your phone here. So it should be up there now, hopefully. So you can see I got 1,151 subscribers, and you'll see last 28 days, and estimated revenue was $50. So I made 50. That's US dollars, by the way, and I'm Canadian, so that's like, I don't know, $70, something like that. So that's what I made in the last 70 days. And I made that because I had 757 watch hours and 10,000 views total on all my videos. I'm going to go to my content. So in here, you can see all of the videos that I've made. Scroll down to the bottom. I come up there. And it's interesting how it goes. Some of the videos, like the one I did, I guess, well, 2 weeks ago, I skipped last week because I really wasn't doing anything interesting last week to film. But a couple of weeks ago, I made a very simple video about how effective my simple solar system is in this cabin. That one's not doing too bad because I've got 2,000 views on it in a couple of weeks. That's actually okay. That's actually pretty good, because if you look down, you'll see a lot of the other videos are getting 2, 3, some of them are 600, 500. So that's pretty typical of a lot of the videos. Not everybody's interested in all of it, and I do get some comments and things like that. So it's interesting to see how it goes. Now, this one here, I'm just going to open this one here. No, I'm not. So this one here, Ultimate Generator Chord System. I did that 3 months ago. And I did it, I got sent a chord by a company called M1A2. Weird name, I know. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But But the interesting part of that was a reasonably popular video, which is surprised me. I didn't figure I was going to get anybody watching that one because it was about really it was about an extension cord. um, but I got 8,200 views on it so far, and I still get views on it fairly regularly. So you can see I've got the diesel heater got 3,000. Diesel heaters seem to be a fairly popular topic for a while. They might still be. I don't have any more to do on that because I've got 2 of them installed and done. And the I did do this video about solar generators are kind of a scam, was the title of it. And the thumbnail says, don't buy this. That has got 85,000 views. And it was fairly, there's a lot of really, like there was a lot of comments on this one and a lot of back and forth that they're not a scam and people really believed in it and other people were agreeing with me and whatnot. And I was basically, the gist of it was, don't buy, you know, an EcoFlow name brand and waste a bunch of money when you can get a much better deal on an off brand. Well, I learned my lesson on that. So a little bit later, I had a solar generator power station update, and the thumbnail says, I was wrong and I have egg on my face. Because I changed my tune on this one. A lot of people really appreciated that I came back and I said, you know what, I was incorrect there. You should buy a decent quality power station because it's something you're going to want to count on. And that's basically what that video was about as a follow-up to the other one, and that's got 30,000 views. So that's my top 1 and 2 videos are those 2, which was really interesting to me. A couple of the older videos that I did, like this one here, what to do in a power outage, practical advice for what to do in a blackout. Didn't do great. It's got 300 views. I did it 7 months ago. Honestly, I'm not very proud of that one. The content was fine, like the actual what I was saying wasn't the problem. It was how I did it and the editing and the length of it. It just didn't work out. It wasn't focused enough. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with all the content stuff, so we'll get on to the other stuff. So analytics. I had to stop there for a minute. It was getting too warm. I had to shut off the heater, and also I was losing connection on my phone because I want to show you this stuff. So on analytics, so on your analytics tab, it shows you, estimated revenue, and that's only for the last 28 days, I think. Subscribers, I got 52 more. Some watch hours, all that kind of stuff. But you can click into any of them and find out the whole year. It also gives you the top content of the last 28 days. So again, that I was wrong, or the don't buy this one. Solar generators are a scam. It's still got 4,600 views in the last 28 days, and I made that 7 months ago. So that's probably going to continue to go and build. And I think that's kind of the key, is consistency, putting out videos on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis or something like that, and it builds up. And so when you're in this app, you can click on any of these things at the top and you can get like a full thing. So views, I've got 10,000, this is the last 28, but if I click that, and I can choose the last 365 days, and you can see where it spikes. So it spiked there around September when I did that solar power station video, and then it kind of, there's a couple of spikes and things like that after that. The last 90 days, it's been trending up a little bit lately, and so you can kind of watch these things. And this is kind of the fun part of the hobby, is checking out your stats and things like that. So I know you're all waiting for the revenue part, so I'm going to skip all this other stuff because it's very similar. So let's look at estimated revenue. So you can see it kind of goes up and down. This is the last 28 days, and you can see I average between a couple of dollars to $3 and $4 a day. That's what I'm making. So not, getting rich here. Estimated revenue the last 28 days was $50, which is actually not bad. So if I look at the last 365, I had nothing until the end of January this year. Reason being, you don't start making money on YouTube for views until you get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Yeah, that's what it is. So once I got monetized and I had to go through the stuff you have to, figure out how they're going to pay you, all that kind of thing, then it started doing better. So I'll look at the last 90 days to give you a better example. It goes up and down. It's kind of trending up a little bit. And, but yeah, so I've made, in the last 90 days, I've made $135.65. That's what I made on views. And so, yeah, I think I might have covered the equipment that I bought, except for the gimbal thing. I haven't covered that one yet, but I did. And here's how. In a lot of my videos, if I bought something that I'm reviewing or I'm looking at, um, I'll say there's a link in the description. You can go and check that out. Those are affiliate links, and I get paid commissions on stuff. So I signed up for the affiliate program on Amazon. I've made about $150 since doing that from Amazon, and they just send you a check for that. So that was kind of cool. The other benefit, it's not monetary, but it kind of is that I got sent free stuff, and that was completely unexpected to me. And so I got contacted. The first one I got contacted by was the generator cord thing. So they contacted me and said, we'd like to send you a cord. It's a 10 amp, 100-foot, 10 gauge, 100-foot, 30 amp cord with a system on either end, so you can hook it up to an RV, you can hook it up to a generator, that kind of stuff. That's what that video was about. The value of that, if I was to go out and buy that stuff, was probably close to $300. Anyway, they just sent it to me and said, please do a video. They sent it to me ahead of time. Obviously, there was no contract or anything. Super easy. And so I said, sure, I can do that. And that's something that would fit in with what I'm doing. So I did that, and it was great. So I had that. I had All Powers contact me, and they wanted to send me a solar panel, which is what powers this cabin now. And it's a 200-watt flexible solar panel, as long as I did a video on it. So I did that as well. So that was great. So that's worth a couple $100, probably. And I had another company contact me about a charge controller, a solar charge controller, bacteria. And so I had that installed in the cabin. I did a video on that. So that's kind of cool. Now, I might get I have had a couple of other emails from people wanting me to partner with some other stuff, and I've said no to, because it doesn't fit in with what I'm doing. I'm not going to take my time to go through a video on something I don't care about. And honestly, if somebody sent me something and it was total crap, I would tell you that they sent me this, but it really isn't. But that hasn't been the case so far. So if you add it all up, I've made 100 and actually pop this back up. So my total revenue for the last year, because I've only been monetized for a few months now, like 4 months, 5 months, 4 months, I've been monetized. So my total revenue from YouTube AdSense is $144, and I made probably $150 on Amazon affiliate links, and then I received probably $600 worth of merchandise from people asking me to do videos. So that's what I've made in the last year. Certainly not going to get rich. I wouldn't even qualify this as a part-time job, but It's just fun for me, and I've built something that it continues to grow and evolve, and I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if I'm going to be one of these people that in a few years has like several 100,000 subscribers and I'm doing a bunch of stuff and I've retired from my job and this is my full time. I can't see it. I can't see me doing this full time. Honestly, it's a lot of work to do it full time. It's you've got to be fairly involved, and there's a lot behind the scenes stuff that you don't see from YouTubers. I, I I feel like there's a lot of extra things. I know there's one particular YouTuber I follow. He's it's a car channel that he does, but the guy works, I don't know, 7 days a week, and I can tell the amount of stuff that he puts into his, not only the work that he's doing on the cars, because I honestly don't think he's making very much money, if anything, on the cars, um, but the amount of work he puts in, he's doing well. He's doing it full time. He's got, I think last I looked, 250,000 subscribers. And he's been doing it for a couple of years. He puts a lot into it, but it's also because he's a character, and a lot of people just like him for who he is and how he does things. Um, he's making a living. He's making a full-time living, but it's a huge amount of work. So it is nothing I aspire to as a retirement job or anything like that. There you have it. That's my take on doing this for 1 year. It's a hobby. My investment, what I got out of it was really, I just really enjoy doing it. It enhances all the other stuff that I do. Um, the other piece of that is that it motivates me. So that's one of the other benefits that doesn't get spoken about a lot. But if I want my YouTube thing to be, I like to hopefully once a week put out a video and have something. It motivates me to do all the other stuff and make sure that I get this cabin built, or make sure that I get that four-wheeler fixed, or make sure that I do the other stuff, some of the other things that I'm doing. So it's a motivator to do those things so that I have content for YouTube. It's kind of it's a two-way street, and I look at it that way. It it's been a big benefit, and I've had a blast doing this, and I'm going to continue to do this. I think there might be a slightly different direction coming up, hopefully next week. So stay tuned for that one. But I hope to see you. Any comments that you've got about if you want to start a channel, if you have a channel, if you're a small channel like me, I'd love to hear about it. Subscribe if you haven't, obviously. That's part of the keeping score that we do as YouTubers, is how many subscribers you got. And thanks so much for watching to the end. And again, if you are subscribed, thank you so much. I can't believe you guys actually like watching me do this crap.